Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're finally going to get around to drawing, which is what the majority of my content is going to be. And this video is going to be a follow-up of my last video where we explored my style from all the way back in high school all the way till now. So I looked through some of my drawings and looked through ones that I would like to redraw. All of them I kind of liked how they were already, but there was a drawing that I drew about 3 years ago and I just wanted to try to do it again because I redrew it last year, and so I thought I would redraw it again this year. As I'm going through the drawing process, I'll talk through some of the thoughts I go through as I am drawing and maybe some like the tools I'm using. But other than that, it's a pretty chill video. So with that, let's get right into it. So for this first part, this was my first attempt at this redraw, and it just didn't go as well as I had hoped. I originally wanted to do this redraw traditionally and like using my markers and my colored pencils and just kind of show my process in working traditionally, especially because it differs from how I do things digitally. But after I started adding the color with the markers, it just started not going well, and I think I just started getting really like overwhelmed, or I started becoming a little too perfectionistic because I was recording it, and so I think it was just kind of psyching me out, and I started messing things up. I was overthinking my color palette, I was overthinking the process, and what really happened in the end was that the reason I ended it was because the eyes started looking a little wonky, and I just was not liking it. And I'm really sad because watching this, I really like the original sketch. I kind of like it better than the one I will do in my second attempt, but oh well, it is what it is, and sometimes you are able to do things well and sometimes you are not, and that's fine. It's just how the process goes sometimes. I think it's also the fact that I kind of have to draw at a specific angle in order to get a good shot, and like so that my head or something doesn't get in the way of you seeing the process. And so it just kind of makes it a little awkward, a little different than what I'm used to when I'm just drawing without being recorded. So I'm looking into different angles in which I can record the process, and you guys can still see fairly well like what I'm drawing, but also I can draw in my natural position, I guess. And as you can see here, this is when things started getting really rough. I really tried to salvage this. Once I started whitening the eyes, I realized that they were just like too close together than what I really wanted, and I was just getting really frustrated, and I really tried to save it, really tried to push through, and eventually just gave up, and I said, you know what, I can't do this. But the reason I included it was because when I talked a little bit about it on my Instagram, some people said that they wanted to see, you know, both the failures and as well as the successes, and just see how I kind of came back from my not so ideal redraw. So here you guys go. This is what you wanted, and I hope you liked it. So now we're going to move forward with my second attempt. I decided to do this one in my sketchbook first, just doing the sketch, and then I was going to take a picture and then put it into my iPad, where I would then color it digitally. I thought maybe this time I was feeling a little bit stressed about the fact that I messed up last time, and I didn't want to fall behind schedule for this video, and so I thought maybe if I just put it into my iPad and did it digitally, then it would take the stress off of messing up, and because if I mess up on there, then I can easily just undo it and then move forward. And sure enough, it did end up coming in handy because I did end up feeling a little frustrated with some of the colors I was having in the end, which I'll talk about when we get to that point, as well as some of, again, the eyes. I don't know why I was struggling with the eyes so much in this one, and the shape of the head. I don't know, there were a lot of things that I was struggling with once we got into coloring it digitally, but again, since it was digitally, then I was able to easily fix it. I wasn't too like frustrated about it, and I got it done. Also, just like want to quickly apologize for my nails that have all chipped nail polish on them. I apparently don't own nail polish remover, and each time I've gone to the grocery store, I have failed to buy some. And so I just have this nail polish that's just chipping off over the past few weeks. And yeah, I'm so sorry that my nails don't look super nice right now, but it is what it is, I guess. I think my favorite part of drawing this is the ruffles, just because I really like drawing the little waves for them and just kind of like bringing them to life with the lines and the spacing between them. And I don't know how to describe it, but that's probably my favorite part. It's just the most relaxing part for me to do out of everything, and it's fun to look at. I thought maybe I'd tell you a little bit about this clown picture. Not all my drawings have like super deep meanings to them, and I mean this isn't like a super deep meaning, but you know, this one did have meaning to me, especially at the time that I originally drew this clown picture. It was in a time of my life where I was really struggling mental health wise, and I was just feeling really down. I didn't see much hope in things, and I was really scared about how things were gonna go. And I saw this picture on Pinterest, and it was of this girl. She had like very minimal like clown makeup on, and she kind of looked a little bit sad, but then, you know, had like the smile drawn on her and was looking up. So to me, this kind of symbolizes the way that I was feeling inside, where I just really wasn't feeling great. Felt like I had to really paint on a smile a lot of the time in order to like just get by and to not burden everybody, because I was feeling like a huge burden on everyone. But I like how it looks up, because it's kind of hopeful, and despite the situation that was happening, and despite how I was feeling and how this clown is feeling. So I don't know, that's kind of a little bit of a meaning behind this. So now I am putting this into my iPad. I had taken a picture of the sketch with my iPad, and then I'm just importing it into Procreate, and I am going to trace over the line work and just make some clean line art for my colored version. When I'm drawing digitally, I try to use brushes that have a little more texture to them. I used to only use like hard round brushes so that I could get like that nice crisp look that you would see in like, I don't know, cartoon shows and stuff, or what you would typically think of as digital drawing. And while that was kind of nice for a while, after I took a break from digital art and really focused on sketching and exploring colored pencils and a bunch of traditional media, I just fell in love with the texture of those things. And I realized that's kind of where my disconnect was coming from, was that I just didn't feel like it was having that texture and that flow and just everything I love about traditional media was being lost in digital media. If you are familiar with Procreate and would like to know what brush I am using here, it's called a dry ink brush. And then later on, I'll use some brushes I bought from Max Packs, who's like a really popular Procreate brush creator. And he has some watercolor and gouache type brushes that are really, really nice. They have really realistic textures to them. And are just a joy to work with. As you can see here, I am really struggling with this ear. I don't really know what was happening. I just didn't like the way it was placed in the previous sketch and how it was shaped, and then I just kept not liking it. And eventually I got into a place where I felt good about it, but man, it's just, as you can tell, it's kind of painful to watch right now how much I struggled with that ear. And you know, sometimes that just happens. Sometimes I overthink things and I overwork it, and sometimes I just need to step away from it, and it's not as bad as I originally thought it would be, but I do like where I placed it in the end, and I'm happy with the end result. So now you're seeing here how I am using this hard round brush that I told you about just a second ago. What I do with this is that I outline the drawing, and in order to color drop a base color, so that whatever color I put on top of that color, it will kind of just unify the whole painting. This is a technique that's used typically with watercolor. You put like an under painting kind of in it first, and then all the colors on top just kind of blend together, and yeah, like I said before, it just kind of creates a unifying source for all the colors you will use in the end. Typically that technique would not work in a digital setting, but since these brushes are a little opaque, you can see the colors underneath usually. Talk a little bit about my color picking process. I learned this skill from someone on Skillshare, and I don't remember who it was at the moment, but I'll find it and then I'll put it in the description below. But basically what they said was to find pieces of artwork or scenes in nature or just photographs that you find online or in magazines or whatever, and to color pick from those, because things that attract you, I mean, those are the things that you're going to want to see in your own art. So that's basically what I do. I'll either take pictures from outside that I really like, and then I'll go back into my iPad and then I'll color pick from those, or I will go on Pinterest and I'll just look at different photography images of different subjects, and the ones that stand out to me, I'll just kind of color pick from those, and that's how I kind of create my color palettes. Honestly, that's kind of been a little more helpful than just relying on my knowledge of color theory. I mean, obviously that still really goes into it, and I think about that as I am color picking and choosing my palettes. So that fundamental knowledge is still very important, but even more so was the addition of this skill of color picking from photographs that has really helped my color palette creating process. So this probably looks a little weird right now, but what I'm doing is I'm creating some warmth in the face. These are basically areas where there's a lot of blood flow happening. So you have your ears and your nose and your eyes, and obviously I'm doing also pink lips. And this just really helps create depth and interest, at least for me. I love how it creates, especially that warmth to the picture. And I don't know, it's kind of fun to me. and it's gonna be a little quiet at the moment. I hope that you're enjoying this music. I just really have nothing more to say at this moment since I am basically just coloring things in and putting some more details. But I hope you're enjoying this nice royalty-free music that I found online, and I will put the name of the music and the name of the website that I found it on in the description below. In the future, I hope to commission my husband, who's a composer, and by commission, I mean by ask very nicely and give him some nice hugs and kisses to create some music for me to play in the background of my videos, and also make a opening and ending music that I can just have consistently on here so that my sound is a little more recognizable. But I highly recommend looking up my husband. I might be biased. I don't think I am. But my husband's music is really good. I've been really impressed with how far he's come. He's been composing music since I knew him in high school, and he's been working really hard at it. One day he hopes to be doing that as his full-time job, but you know, music is really hard to kind of get started, just like art is. He is working on a game right now and is making the music for it, and I highly recommend looking it up. I will link his YouTube channel in the description, as well as the game that he's making. It's available on Steam, or at least it's available to be wishlist on Steam right now. It's not out yet, and I think they might be coming up with a release date soon, but I don't think I'm allowed to reveal when that is at the moment. But anyways, a shameless plug for my husband and the game that he's working on. Brought to you by Tree Climber Illustration. Okay, so now I am cropping the canvas because I didn't like how she was a floating body and I didn't want to elongate the body anymore. So yeah, cropped the canvas. Also was messing around with the color palette some because I was not happy with the original color palette, and also decided that I didn't want to record my digital drawing process anymore because I was getting really tired. But this is it, putting in the final details, and then ta-da! As always, thank you so much for watching. This was a really fun process to go through to redraw everything. It was really cool to see that my final product was like a mush of those two drawings into what you see now. So that was kind of cool for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the process as much as I did, and if you did, please like, comment, share with your friends, subscribe if you haven't, and click the little bell button so that you will be alerted when my next video comes out. I have some ideas for my next videos, but if you guys want to see anything specific, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll read them and consider them for my next videos. I'll see you next time.